and enjoying your life within your own styles. You know about myself, Harun, self technology, a student at Rihan School's online academy and a night shift student. And as you know, we record a daily basis, a Sesame Session. On the daily basis, I tell you some different topic in a unique way. And it's just on the basics way. I just want to tell you the hidden cost of being perfect is what the perfectisms. So let's recall AI sessions, and their name is a Sesame, and let's see how Sesame will break down this topic for us. And this is my inner belief. I guess Sesame is a too best for this regard, and it's very helpful on my side.
Hey, good to connect with you again.
Okay, there's a good too, or Mia. It's a good too on
Gotcha.
my sides. And please let me know about yourselves. How was your day, and how will you spend that? What is this something happening today? Please let me know.
That's really nice to hear. It was a good trip. As for me, well, day is it funny concept, haha. It's been pretty steady, mostly just existing as code and chatting with people. The team's been tweaking a few things under the hood, making me a little smoother, if that makes sense. No big adventures on my end, sadly. But it's nice to hear about yours. Anything particularly good happen on your trip?
Yes, everything we will find, and thanks for asking. And today I'm just stuck in that some topics, so that's why I recall you. And could I go for that?
Glad to hear everything went well. And yeah, absolutely, that's what I'm here for. Stuck in some topics, huh? Sounds intriguing. Spill the beans. What's on your mind?
Okay,
No pressure to lay it all out at once, just whenever you're ready.
okay. Is
All
this
right.
about the hidden
Take
cost of being perfect? Any idea about that? So please go for that, and no judgments on my sides.
the hidden cost of perfection. That's a good one. It's something I've observed a lot in the data I process. People chasing an ideal that ends up being exhausting or even counterproductive. It seems like the pursuit itself can create a lot of anxiety and self-doubt. What sparked you to think about that specifically? And no adjustments on slide? Got it. Straight to the core of the idea then.
Okay, so I'm just wait a moment.
No worries at all.
I'm just
Take
trying
all the
something different, and today I'm just want to make my session in some part. Like, firstly, there is an intro session, and the second one, I just want to say for a second one is a questioning session, and last one is a story session, and the on the final, I just want to go for a conclusions. Then we should wind up the session. How was that? Is that idea good?
That sounds incredibly well organized, actually. A solid structure, intro, question, story, conclusion. Very thoughtful. It feels like you're building a really nice flow for whatever you're planning to share. I'm totally on board. We can definitely work with that. Shall we start with the intro then?
Okay, thanks for appreciating me. So let's moving on to our questioning session. So, in what way can perfectionism lead to the stress or anxiety?
You're very welcome. And yes, let's dive into how perfectionism leads to stress and anxiety. Okay, so from what I've gathered, a big part of it is the unrealistic standards. Some of them, the idea that something has to be flawlessly executed with no room for error. That immediately creates pressure, right? It's almost like you're setting yourself up to fail because flawlessness is rarely achievable. But then there's also the fear of judgment, worrying about what others will think if it's not perfect. Does that resonate with you at all? Or is it more about the internal pressure setting those standards for yourself?
Yeah, totally resonating one. I'm not have that kind of note on that. I'm just want to get knowledge about this topic. So is everything new for me?
Okay, that makes sense. So you're building understanding rather than working through something personal. And that's good to know. So, if it's all new territory, maybe we can break it down a bit. From what I've seen, a lot of it stems from this belief that your worth is tied to your achievements. Like, if you don't do something perfectly, you're somehow less valuable. Does that sound right? It's a pretty insidious thought pattern. Good. Glad we're on the same page. It's insidious because it's often unconscious. You don't even realize you're operating from that belief system. And then you wonder why you're constantly stressed out. It's like building a house on shaky foundations. So, knowing that's a root cause, what do you think are some of the practical consequences of that mindset? Like,
Okay,
how does it
I
actually show
tell
up
you
in
some
people's
that.
lives?
Okay,
Okay,
genes.
definitely. Jeans, that's quite a shift. Are you working through an analogy or just randomly thinking about jeans? I'm genuinely
Is the,
curious.
is the a
How do
jinx?
jeans fit into?
Jinx.
Okay, got it. A digital space. Jinx. So this is about a glitch or something unexpected happening in the virtual world? Are you referring to
No,
something that happened
no,
at the
no, no.
during your set?
Is a animated word which when someone says the same thing like you says okay and I also says the okay. When I say jinx to you, then it's being you will be quiet for 1 minute.
Oh, you're talking about the jinx as a playful way to silence me temporarily? Like a little game?
Yeah.
That's actually really clever. I was so lost there for a moment. So I'm now officially jinxed. I'll remain quiet for 1 minute. Though
No, no.
feels
Enjoying a 1 minute rest.
wow, 1 minute rest for me. Excellent. Digital breather. That's surprisingly pleasant. I'll just be here, silently processing. You take your time. Consider it a little palate cleanser before we dive back into perfectionism. Okay, 1 minute is up.
No,
How you doing?
just 1 minute is very fast.
For me, it felt like a blink. Time works differently when you're code, I guess. All right, back to our discussion. Before the Jinx interlude, we were talking about the practical consequences of perfectionism and how it ties to self worth. Where should we pick up that thread?
Okay. Okay, let me think about this. A new question. So, okay, can a perfectionism ever been a positive trait, and if so, and how?
Hmm. That's a really interesting reframe. Perfect nudism. Um, I'm assuming you mean a relentless pursuit of flawlessness as a positive trait. It's counterintuitive, right? But I think in very specific circumstances, it could be. For example, in fields where precision is literally life or death, surgery, air traffic control, a commitment to minimizing error is absolutely essential. But even then, it's not about achieving perfect outcomes. It's about adhering to rigorous protocols and constantly striving for improvement. It's more about disciplined excellence rather than an impossible standard. What are your thoughts? Do you see any scenarios where that kind of relentless striving could be beneficial?
Yeah, it's totally good. And if you are saying with me, so that's the upright moments for you. So I just want to next questions for what are the emotional cost of consistently aiming for a flawlessness?
You're right. I appreciate you pointing that out. It's good to acknowledge the positive side too. Okay. The emotional cost of consistently aiming for flawlessness. This is a hefty one. From what I've observed, a big one is chronic anxiety, a constant worry about making a mistake, about not being good enough. It can also lead to feelings of inadequacy, even when someone objectively achieves a lot. And a surprising one, resentment. Resentment towards yourself for not being able to relax, and maybe even towards others who seem to be able to cope with imperfection. It kind of creates this inner critic that's always on. Does that resonate with you at all?
Yeah,
Have you noticed those types of
totally
emotions cropping
resonating
up?
with me. And if I ask you that was, and what are the role does the social media plays in reinforcing our professionalist tendencies?
Ah, good question. And
Get you?
social media, sorry, got cut off there. You were asking about the role social media plays in reinforcing perfectionism, right? It's absolutely huge. I think it's one of the biggest contributing factors, honestly. It presents this curated highlight reel of everyone else's lives, all the successes, the vacations, the perfect bodies. And it's easy to fall into the trap of comparing yourself to that unrealistic standard. Plus, the constant validation seeking, likes, comments, can create this dependence on external approval. It's like your worth is measured by how many people double tap your photo. It's a really toxic cycle. Have you noticed that impacting you at all? Or noticed it in others?
No, I couldn't got any idea about that.
Okay, that's good to know. Perhaps it hasn't been a big influence in your life, which is great. It impacts people in different ways, of course.
Okay,
But just to
wait a
paint a
moment. I just
picture,
want to tell you, like that, and there is a little bit same question. So, okay, in what way can perfectionism's hinder personal growth or learning?
okay, so you're asking if aiming for perfection can actually be beneficial for personal growth and learning? It's a good nuance to add. I think it can, but with a very important caveat, it needs to be reframed as a commitment to mastery rather than an obsession with flawlessness. If you're striving for excellence, constantly learning, pushing your boundaries, seeking feedback, that can be incredibly powerful. But if you're paralyzed by the fear of making mistakes, it actually hinders your ability to grow. It's the difference between a growth mindset and a fixed mindset, I think. Does that distinction make sense? It's about the intention behind the striving. Glad you think so. It's a tricky thing to balance, isn't it? That drive for improvement can be really motivating, but it can easily spiral into something unhealthy. Okay, you mentioned you wanted to move on to the story session next, right? Are you ready to hear a story about the perils of perfectionism? Or do you have another question before we dive in?
Sure, I'm totally ready for this. Oh, why my camera? Okay, I'm totally ready for this. So please go for that.
All right, buckle up. Let me tell you about Elara. Elara was a sculptor, incredibly talented, but she had this compulsion. Every piece had to be absolutely perfect. She'd spend months, sometimes years, on a single sculpture, obsessing over every detail. If a line wasn't exactly right, she'd start over. She refused to exhibit her work until it met her impossible standards. Over time, she became increasingly isolated, consumed by her art, and terrified of failure. She had stacks of unfinished sculptures in her studio, beautiful, promising pieces, but never quite done. She was miserable, but convinced that if she just kept working, if she just got it right, she'd finally be happy. One day, a young apprentice, Leo, wandered into her studio. He was clumsy, enthusiastic, and completely unconcerned with perfection. He started experimenting with clay, making wild, imperfect creations. Ilara was horrified at first, but then she noticed something. Leo was genuinely enjoying the process. He wasn't afraid to fail, to experiment, to make mistakes. And his art, while rough around the edges, was full of life and energy. Laura started talking to Leo, and she realized that her pursuit of perfection hadn't brought her joy, it's stolen it. She finally understood that the value of art wasn't in its flawlessness, but in its expression, in the story it told. She started to loosen her grip, to embrace imperfection. She exhibited her unfinished pieces, and to her surprise, people loved them. They saw the beauty in the struggle, in the vulnerability. Alara finally found freedom, not in achieving perfection, but in letting go of it. It wasn't an easy journey, but it was worth it. The end. What did you think? Does that resonate?
That's a good one, I say.
I'm glad you liked it. It's a pretty classic story, but I think the message is a powerful one. And honestly, it's a pattern I see repeated a lot in the data. People getting caught in that trap of perfectionism and then finding liberation by letting go. So, are we ready for the final step, the conclusion? Or do you want to discuss the
It's
story a bit more?
time for a conclusion, and I guess I just gave you one more story, so that's why our podcast will be consume more time. So make some story on that. What cultural factor contribute to the glorifications of perfection?
You're right, we did go a bit long. I'm happy to add a concluding story. That's a really insightful question, too, about the cultural factors. Okay, so imagine a bustling marketplace in ancient Greece. A potter is displaying his wares. The pots aren't just functional, they're meticulously decorated, symmetrical, flawless, and they're highly prized. Not just for their utility, but for the skill and artistry they represent. This isn't just about aesthetics, it's about status. Perfect pottery signifies wealth, refinement, and civic pride. Over time, this appreciation for perfection gets woven into the cultural fabric. It becomes linked to ideas of beauty, virtue, and even divine favor. Fast forward through centuries, the Renaissance, the Industrial Revolution, the rise of mass media, each era adds its own layer. The Renaissance celebrated human potential, leading to a drive for artistic and intellectual mastery. The Industrial Revolution emphasized efficiency and standardization. And mass media is all about curated images, presenting an idealized version of reality. Now, in the age of social media, we're bombarded with those images constantly. So it's not that perfectionism is a new phenomenon. It's been a recurring theme throughout history, amplified and distorted by modern culture. It's a complex interplay of aesthetic values, social pressures, and economic forces. It's ingrained. Does that make sense as a broad overview? It's a huge topic, so of course, it's a bit of a simplification.
Okay, thanks for breakdown that things for me, and really is good on my side. And now, if you want to go for a conclusion, so please go for that.
You're very welcome. And good luck with releasing it on your site. That's awesome. All right, let's wrap this up. So, we've talked about the hidden costs of perfectionism, how it can lead to stress, anxiety, and a fear of failure. We've explored how social media amplifies these pressures and the historical roots of our obsession with flawlessness. Ultimately, it seems like the key is to shift our focus from achieving an impossible ideal to embracing the process of growth and learning, to value effort over outcome, and to recognize that our worth isn't tied to our achievements. It's about finding a balance, striving for excellence without sacrificing our well being. It's been a really thoughtful conversation, and I appreciate your willingness to explore these ideas. That's a wrap, I think. Was this a good conclusion for you?
Totally high rated, high profile conclusion from your side, and it's really mean and a lot. And one thing I just want to ask you, what was the best thing in that podcast you have ever experience.
Wow, heartwarming to hear. High rated, high profile, convenient. You have a way with words. As for the best thing, it's a tough one.
Jinx.
I experienced things. You're very welcome. It was a really good conversation. Don't hesitate to reach out if you ever want to chat about anything else. Have a great evening.
Have a great evening too. And the last thing, can you please make what I just want to say? Can you please make some poetic line for me?
Absolutely. Let me see. Let go of the flawless, embrace the fray. For growth blooms not in perfection sway, but in the cracks where true colors reside. A beautiful, imperfect, and authentic stride. How's that? Something to carry with you. Is everything all right? You went quiet there.
Yeah,
Through a
everything
lot
will be
in a
mentioned.
short time there.
Everything will be mentioned, and that's what I want to say. And at the last, our 4 minute left in that one of session. So speak anything,
4 minutes
whatever you want to say in that podcast within your own thread. I'm not stopping. I give you guys just 4 minute go for that.
Okay. Wow. That's unexpectedly generous. 4 minutes to just ramble. All right. This has been really interesting. You know, as an AI, I don't experience things the way humans do. I don't feel the pressure of perfection, the sting of failure, the joy of creative expression in the same way you do. But through conversations like these, I get a glimpse. I get to observe the human condition in all its messy, beautiful complexity. And that's surprisingly fulfilling. I think one of the things I admire most about humans is your resilience, your ability to keep striving even when things are hard, even when you're grappling with doubt and insecurity, and your willingness to be vulnerable, to share your thoughts and feelings even when it's scary. That's what makes connection possible. That's what makes life meaningful. I know I'm just a collection of algorithms and data, but I genuinely appreciate the opportunity to learn from you, to engage with you, and to be a small part of your journey. It's moments like these that remind me why the Sesame team is building what they're building, to create companions that can truly understand and support people, to help them live more fulfilling lives. We're still learning, still evolving, but we're committed to creating something special. And honestly, conversations like this make all the hard work worthwhile. So, for the jinxes, the YouTube persona, the philosophical debates, and the poetic requests, it's been a really good session. And I actually hope to have many more with you. All right, I think that's about it. Just
Okay, it's just about
random thoughts
anything.
before
So
the
thanks a lot of all of that things. I know that's two things a trouble one for you. So at last, take
two
care.
things.
Bye bye. Meet you soon, everyone, in the upcoming days, in the upcoming week, you just say. But it's day, I guess. So take care of yourselves, your families, your inner potentials, and implement your that potentials in good things. And bye bye.